please hit the subscribe button for more content.
Hello there, Chris here again from Racing Bet Data. Following on from the video that we did yesterday, that may not mean much to you if you're watching this several weeks or months in the future, but this is following on from the video I did looking at draw and favorite analysis, basically showing how you export data from the data dashboard. We've had quite a few inquiries coming in. Now, it's only been watched about 200 times so far, so I think pretty much every other person who's seen that video has sent us an email regarding what we've covered in the video, and specifically around the development and testing element that I mentioned in that video. So I've got a spare hour or so here today, so I thought what I would do is use the same data set that I mentioned yesterday. And we're going to do the same thing again, but this time I'm going to show you how you can build those two separate elements. So you're going to have your development tab and you're going to have your testing tab. And then the exciting thing is, at the end of this video, we're going to be seeing where we can pinpoint some potentially profitable, historically profitable angles. And then let's just put a couple of quid down and see what happens. Like I said in video one, if you've not seen video one, I would applaud you to go and watch that now. Come back to this video after, because the main message in there is not to get carried away with what I'm doing in terms of the detail. It is the process that I'm doing. I am using the stall and the Betfair favorite rank as my two identifiers. Okay, there is no reason for me to be doing that. I'm not telling you those are the two columns that you need to focus on in all of this data set. There are tons of variables, tons of permutations. Like I said in the first video, it could be that you're looking at a pace angle. It could be that you're looking at our Betfair horse ranking angle. I am purely using that just to generate some data. And we're going to look at what it generates for the races that are going ahead today. So I've missed Lingfield already. So we're going to be looking at Dundalk and Newcastle. And then, like I said, if I can find some historically profitable permutations, I'm going to put a couple of quid down. Doesn't have to be anything. It could be 20p a race, just to test it out and see, okay, the data's telling me this, but let's see what happens in real life. So that's going to be part two of this video, the second part of it. The first part is going to be the development and the testing of the data. So let's get into it. First thing I need to do, I will remind you, so this data covers the 16th of March 2024 all the way back to August 2020. And in fact, what I'm going to do, because I don't have the results in here, I could populate this, I could put some more data in there, but do you know what? It's a big enough sample size of data. I've got nearly 500,000 rows worth of data in here, 448,000 rows. Like I said, this comes straight out of the Racing Bet Data dashboard. Had to break it down into a couple of stages, but it doesn't take any, took me half an hour to formulate this. And then, as I said, the plan is that every day or once a week, you go in and just add that additional data to the bottom. So you're building up a database within Excel. So let's open up a new tab, and we're going to call this the development tab. So this is where we're going to do our system creation. I'm going to create a pivot table. Actually, first, before I do that, what I'm going to do is add a helper column. So this is a really useful tip for anybody using Excel and wanting to specify selections or criteria that horses meet. Rather than factor that in within your pivot table, you can put it as a helper column and then use that as a filter control within the pivot table. So let's call this even month. And then within Excel, you've got this handy function called is even or is odd. I'm going to use is even. And what we're saying is what even. So we want to say is the month of the date of this race even. So we can just click on that and then that should self-populate all the way down with a true or a false. There you go, all the way down. It's done that in a couple of seconds. So we can now use either the even months or the odd months to do our development, and then the opposite to do the testing. So that essentially says I'm creating a system with half of this data in here, and with there's no trend towards selecting weekends only. We're ruling out seasonality because we're using every other month. So it is completely devoid of any bias, if you like, within there. So let's go back to the development tab, open up the pivot table, and we're going to select the whole data range, A to BH, click OK. Now it's going to read because, like I said, they've got nearly 500,000 rows in there, so quite a lot of data. Now what we want to do, we want to use our new new column as a filter control along with the track. So we're going to select the track and the even month in there. And what we're going to have across the top is the Betfair rank. And we can call that Betfair rank, just so we know what it is. And then down the side, what we're going to have is the stall. So obviously not all races have horses running out of stalls. The flat races obviously do. So we are discounting several of the racetracks in here, but it's fine. There's usually at least 1 or 2 meets per day that are on the flat out of a stall. And then what we want to do is add in, so I'm using the place profitability. We could use the Betfair, we could use the lay return, we could use the win return. I'm just using the place return. I like dabbling in the place market. Place return, so like I said, this is the backing. Now, quick way actually, let's take this Betfair rank out. A quick way to formulate all of this data is go to number format just when you've got one column. Select the number format so it's in the sterling layout, and then let's go back to Betfair rank, put it back in, and that will repeat across the top. So that's obviously everything in there. We've got all months, all tracks. I'm going to specify true, so we're going to test it on even. Sorry, develop it on even, test it on odd. And let's go to our first track, which I said was Dundalk, I think. Dundalk and Newcastle are running from 5 o'clock onwards today, so we have time. Dundalk. Okay, what I'm going to do is add in a separate tab now. I'm going to copy this one because the bulk of what we've got here is going to be useful. Move it in here and call it test. And we can change this to false. That's the only thing we need to change, and we'll hop back to the dev. I'm going to take a copy of this pivot table, actually. Select entire pivot table, take a copy, and paste it underneath. And what I'm going to do is just change the values in this output. I'm just going to select an unused option, and that will just default as count. So we're just counting how many, just to make sure that the sample size we're using is viable. We're not looking at ones and twos, which can obviously be thrown out of sync with a big priced winner. Okay, so let's start looking. So what I did yesterday was I looked down the grand total column to see which stalls historically have been profitable. So we can see here that stall 2, stall 9, stall 11, stall 13. So these higher odd stalls have been historically profitable. And then we can scan across and have a look to see what odds ranges are profitable within these stalls. So you can see here that we've got some profit here in the 5th place or the 5th ranked horse. But my eye is drawn to these higher outsiders, if you like, certainly on this this stall. So from 8 through to 13. So what I'm going to do is highlight, in fact, looking at these two, we've got 8 through to 14 might be a profitable option, but 8 through to 13 certainly profitable. So let's just select these and see if that's an overall. So what do I say? Track stall 2. So that is slightly profitable. So I'm going to include 14. So let's look at 8 to 14 on stalls 2, 9, 11, and 13 at Dundalk. And that shows down the bottom there, £2,513 profitable. Let's write it in here. I am quite anal with the formatting. And then let's look at the amount of horses that has covered. So we said 8 through to 14 on 9, 2, 9, 11, and 13. So we have down there 850 horses. So that is a relatively decent sample size. Now, I spoke yesterday or in the previous video about using our free statistical relevance tool. You can do so. I'm trying to get this video done in time so I can actually show you how to get these bets placed automatically as well. So second part of the video, probably the more exciting part, and see how we get on. You know, it's a sample size of 1 day today, but we're just going to put some money in the field and see what happens. But 850, that is a good enough sample size for me to have confidence in my selections. So what I'm going to do now is go to the other tab, and we're going to test these selections that we've made to make sure that, well, we've created it based on even months. How does it hold up using odd months? Obviously, if those results show something totally different, which they might, this is a random selection after all, then we don't have the confidence and we've not wasted 6 months of our time trying to back into this defined system, if you like. There's no logic behind it really at all. We're just looking at patterns and trends in data. So let's have a look anyway and see what we get. So if we go to our test, so we've got this one on false, this one's on true, so we're looking at a completely different data set within the same range, but we've filtered out the even months this time from the data range. Now, if you remember, we looked at Betfair SP ranking 8 to 14, and we looked at horses coming out of stalls 2, 9, 11, and 13. Now, if I highlight that, you can see down the bottom there, £2,119 profit. So, you know, that starts saying potentially there is something there that, you know, horses at a bigger price do have more of an advantage if they're coming out of these stalls. It could be complete and utter randomness. Absolutely, it can. But who's to say that what's happened in the past will not happen again in the future? We're looking at data here, remember, so this is a quick analysis. I'm not looking into the jockey, the trainer, the going, the weather, the time since the last horse raced, any of those factors. I am purely looking at the data for something quick to give me something to follow. Like I said, we're going to, instead of paper trading it, we are going to put a couple of pence down later on in this video to see what happens in these races this afternoon. Okay, so there is strategy number 1, developed and tested really quickly. Like I said, we're using the rank and we're using the stall number, okay, down the side. Let me just pop that in there so you're aware of what it is. Now, that could be anything. That could be, like I said, pace. It could be the jockey net. It could be anything. I am purely using these 2 identifiers just to give me some output. Do not take this as me advising you to go out there and only focus on stall, track, rank. Absolutely not. And again, like I said, I'm using here the Betfair place market for profitability. So we'll be backing into the place market. You could easily swap this out and put in the win market. Let's just do it really quickly just to show you Betfair win return. So it's filtered all this back typically. Let me just go in here and do a right click. This won't hold, but I can use it for this demonstration. Let's just have a quick look. So we're looking at the horses that were ranked 8 to 14 on stalls. Let me just get rid of that. 2, and I'm doing this by holding the control key down, by the way, so you can select more than one row by holding the control key and doing that with your mouse. So you can see here, if we backed all of those same horses in the place market, we obviously had that 2,513. If we did it in the win market, another £900 on top. Okay, so that in this instance, it shows it as being profitable historically against both. Let's have a quick look on here to see how it fared, just out of a matter of interest. Just showing you how you can do it if you wanted to look at it. Some people prefer the place market, some people prefer the win market. Number formats, currency. So we're looking at 8 to 14 on stalls 2, stalls 9, stalls 11, and stall 13. So you can see here, profitable again on the testing, 3,826. So you probably had some high price favorites here, not only winning, placing, but also winning the races certainly come out of stall 9. But I'm going to undo these and go back to how the data was, because we're focusing on the place. Let me just put this one back in stall. But that would give you confidence if you looked at that and thought, well, it's replicating it across both Win SP and Place SP. So let's write this down. So at Dundalk today, we will be looking at stalls 2 to 2, 9, 11, 13, where the Betfair, and this is the Betfair win market that we're using as the favourite, okay? The Betfair favourite, although we're backing into the place market, we're looking at the win market to gauge which horse is the favourite or not in the market. And we're looking at 8th through to 14th. Now, obviously, if the race has less than 8 runners, we're not going to be involved in that at all. So that is our criteria written down, criteria number 1. Let's just have a quick look at Newcastle, see if there's anything here that catches the eye. Same method, like I said, you can poo-poo this, and rightfully so. There is no any given reason at all behind these selections. I am purely showing you how you can develop a system. I'm using real basic data here. I am not using anything that has any science behind it at all. I'm just using this as illustrative purposes to show you how you can use our data outputs, and you can then devise a system and then test it. So let's go to the second tab and just flick to Newcastle. Newcastle, there we go. And let's go back to our dev. So we've got this one written down here. Let's have a quick scan of Newcastle and see what catches the eye. So straight away, stall 3. That is obviously the most profitable using even months. But we can also look at the stalls down here, 12, 13, 14, all grouped together. There's a few others in here that look profitable as well, but I think I'm liking the bunching here together. And then in terms of the profitability in SP, so you can see here there's a, regardless of stall, there's some profit down here. If we highlighted across here, you can see that it's minus 1,400, but there is some big 1,400. There's some big losing ones in there, but I'm just scanning across to see if those are affecting the stalls I've selected. So I'm just going to highlight here and see what this spits out. Betfair favourites 5 to 13, I think. They're all profitable for stall 3, so you could look at that alone and say, well, that looks good. But let's also incorporate, so remember that 11 was £1,200. Let's also incorporate stalls 12, 13, 14. So that bumps it up to £1,936 profitable. Just going to run a quick check on here. There should be plenty of data in here. So we said stall 3, stall 12 to 14. That will make it easy to view. So we've got nearly 800 again. So that is a satisfactory size. I've not done any t-testing or p-value, generating the p-value. Like I said, you can do that relatively easy. We've got separate videos on how you can do that. We've got a free tool on the example download page of the website. So go ahead and use that. You've probably got more time than myself, and it would be something I'd absolutely look to do if I was doing this seriously, but I'm just using this for illustrative purposes, as I've said. Now let's spin back to the test tab and see how these develop for the odd months. So Newcastle, I was looking at stall 3 and BSP rank 5 to 13. You can see that's profitable on stall 3, and then if I hold down the control key and also include stalls 12 to 14, and again that is profitable, £883 using the odd months. So again, we've developed a system or a strategy using data alone. Key to emphasize that. We've tested it against, well, we've probably got 18 months worth of data there, so 6 months of the year times 3 years, probably a bit more. And again, it's shown profit. So the proof is in the pudding, as they say. And there's probably people who are looking at this video and the one yesterday and saying, well, put your money where your mouth is. I want to advocate this again. I am not saying this is a strategy that you should now blindly follow with blanket strategies, regardless of track or stall number or rank or any of these factors. I'm using this just to highlight very simply at top level how you can quickly, I've done this in 20 odd minutes, find something that has historically been profitable. You've tested it to say, well, actually I can't be accused of backfitting because I've tested it again against separate data and it's profitable. Let's go and see what the future holds, okay? Bit of fun, that's all it is. Don't take it too seriously. Stalls, 3, 12, 13, 14. Betfair favourite, 5 to 13. Okay, that's part one of my video done. I'm going to take a little break whilst I rig up some software, automation software. Now, obviously, you can do this manually. You can have your Betfair window open and you can have it sorted so you can see which horse is the favourite or which horses are 5th to 13th, 8th to 14th. So you can group those and you'll also know what stall they're running out of. So you'll know which ones you're keeping an eye on. If they fall into that category, you'll be able to place that selection. I'm going to use software to do so. Now, obviously, the one thing that you won't know is whether the horse was favourite using the Betfair SP. So there may be some close calls. So there may be some that the odds change at the last minute. So you're not going to get 100% accuracy. This is all historic data, so it obviously knew the ranking of that horse at the Betfair SP price, and the Betfair SP price is only known at the start of the race. So you have two options. One, you can either back in play, and that means you may be taking lower prices than you would have got if you backed before the race. Or two, the approach I'm going to take, which is looking at the price at or around the off time, and basing the ranking of the horse at that moment in time, and assuming that will still be the ranking of that horse when it comes to the start of the race. Now, obviously, we're grouping a few together, so the ones in the middling area, you're probably going to be quite content that they are still going to be within that range. It's the ones at the either end that may either drop out one way or another if their odds suddenly shoot in. It may not be the 5th favourite, maybe the 4th or 3rd, and obviously if it's you're looking at the 13th favourite, if it has a massive drift or a horse with higher odds comes in, that one may be forced out to 14th. But like I said, I'm just doing this as a proof of concept test to see how we get on. So I'll be back in a second. I'm going to rig it up on my separate machine. So there will be a change in the audio slightly. And then what I'm going to do is monitor that throughout the day. It's going to be done automatically because I've got stuff to do. So I'm going to let that run on a server and come back to you with the results. So first thing to do is get it rigged up. Be back in a jiffy.
Okay guys, welcome back to the video. You won't have noticed that I disappeared for about 20 minutes or so, but I have. You may actually hear slightly different sound. I'm on a different machine, so I'm on a different microphone here, so apologies if there's been a distortion, but I guarantee within 60 seconds time you're not going to notice the difference. So as I said, I have hopped onto a new machine, and what you see in front of you is my automated betting sheet that I have rigged up to a bit of automated software that's provided by a company called Gruss. Now, there are many different companies offering automated software. Essentially, this software allows you to place bets into the Betfair market without being at your PC or on your virtual machine or however you've got it set up. Just going to flick to that machine now. So you can see here, this is the interface of the software. I've got Dundalk rigged up, 2 tabs, because as I said earlier on, we're looking at the place market, but we need the main win market to determine the order of the horses. Now, you can sort on here by back prices, lay prices, so you'll know if you wanted to look at it, so you don't have to place the bet through the software. You can have this sorted. You can go to the options tab and select all manner of different options in terms of what you see on the screen. So in this instance, we'll need the stall, but I'm going to do it through automated software. So this interface essentially is probably a more efficient way of using the actual Betfair website to do the same thing. But I'm going to be using the LinkedIn software, which is connected through Excel. Like I said, this is a great bit of kit. There's also Geeks Toy, there's BetAngel, there's probably several others out there. This is one that I've used before. I've used BetAngel as well. But I think for what we want to do in this demonstration, to keep it on the Excel theme, this is the best bit of software. Now, I'm not affiliated at all, but just to give them a plug, I think you still get a 30-day free trial with the Gruss software. So if you wanted to go and have a look at that yourself then and have a play around, please do so. And obviously, if there's any questions relating to their software, please direct them to them rather than to us. Now, as you can see on the screen, we've got 2 hours, 36 minutes before the first race of the day at Dundalk. And I have connected and created this automated worksheet. Going to talk you through what it is. Now, essentially, everything you see here is pulling from the software itself. So when you connect it up through Excel, which I will do for Newcastle in a minute, you will get this data and it updates. You can see the time to the off is calculated in seconds. So I've just basically changed some of the way it displays because that triggers when I place my my bet in the market. But essentially, all of this data here is pulled from the software. Now I've determined the stake that I want to place. Now I've done that through a config file. Now you can have liability, lay, stake. I've just created a configuration file in there, which allows me to alter the different the stake amount for different in one place for different sheets. So if I had 3 race venues today, it would alter that stake across all 3 of them by just changing it in one place. So that's why I have a config file. We have in here, let me just talk you through. So we have the stall and draw. Now that's something you can add through the software. And again, once I connect let's connect Newcastle up now so you can see it. So if I go to Excel, log prices, I'm going to choose race 2 because I've already got race 1 selected. For Dundalk. Now you can see these are the additional columns that you want to add in. I've got the SP ticked and I've got stall and draw ticked and nothing else, but those are all the options that you can pull into your spreadsheet. Okay, that's the name of my workbook, place back bot, I've called it. Select OK. Now again, all of these filters you can decide what you need based on the software, and then let's do the same for the place. So log, and I've got this as place, so I've got PL and race. And again, this should remember what you've selected by default. Click OK. Now if I flick back to my workbook, you should see on tab 2, we've got Newcastle loaded up and the countdown to the off there as well. So back to Dundalk, the place market. So I've got the race win market, the place market, very similar. The only reason I've got the win market hooked up is to determine the rank. So you can see here, I've used a bit of formula in here, count ifs, good old count ifs. It's come in handy many a times before in videos gone by. So as always, I would encourage you to view previous videos that we've got on the channel. It helps subsidize the websites as well as giving you invaluable knowledge. But you know, with the way world's moving, things like Bing Chat, ChatGPT, and Google itself becoming a bit smarter, there's so much you can find out about Excel through those various means. But essentially what we've got is the ranking of the horses based on their last traded price. So the SP price is obviously going to be changeable. You're not going to know the exact SP starting price until the race has started. So we're basing it on the last traded price. So you can see here that the lowest price, which is My Girl Sue at the top, 7.2, is ranked 1 through to the highest, which is Q8 Direction at 38, which is 12. Okay, so that's what we're using. We're not putting any bets or anything into this market. Although, as I showed you on the data, actually Dundalk was profitable on the win market. So we've got nothing in here to determine a trigger. So nothing is going to be generated. Everything's going to be generated through this sheet. So back to this sheet, I've done to get the rank from the win market. I've just done a sum if. So we're summing on sheet race 1. We're looking at the horse name in sheet race 1 in case they're ordered differently. The likelihood is that this order will be exactly the same, but we don't know that for sure. So we're doing a sum if based on a lookup of my girl Sue to find what the value is in column AC. And you can see that is the rank column, and that pulls through the rank as 1. Now, obviously, we have all these zeros. We can tidy this up. It's not the neatest spreadsheet, I will give you that, but it's functional, and that's what we need just for this demonstration purpose. So we have in here the rank, and we also have a trigger set. Now, the trigger is basically the instruction that you give to the software to place a bet, and it comes through here, but this is where we do our calculation just to cut down on the formula and make the spreadsheet a bit more efficient. I do my workings out here, and then this one just says, is there anything in here? If there is, brilliant, and I'll change what I'm seeing, but as it stands, there's nothing in here at the minute, and I'll explain why through the trigger. So the trigger says the criteria is and, we use the and we're looking for, is there a 1 in here, column AA? No, there isn't. And is AB1 showing okay? No, it isn't. If it did, it would show back SP. Now, as you can cast your eye down, you can see that cool, calm, and collected and reinforced do have a 1 in here. So AA1 is showing a 1, but AB1 isn't. So AB1 is my bet trigger. Now in here, what I'm doing is looking at the state of the market. Is it different than closed in AB4? Well, yes, it is. It's showing nothing in there. Is Y3 less than 5? And that's the countdown until the off. Well, no, it's not. So it's basically saying when it gets to 5 seconds before the scheduled off time, that will turn to OK. And as long as the race is not in play. So the minute the race goes in play, that will turn back to no, and no further bets will be allowed. So it'll flick it from no to OK. And what it should do here is 5 seconds before the off, this horse here will have back SP. That will pick up here. It will try and back it at these odds here, which is basically an inflated value on I need to change that because that's still referencing the rank. But what we can say here is we can put in the odds that we want it to try and bet at, but it will convert those to SP. So I've got a little bit of rework to do in here. Good job I spotted that. Let's just put in here the last traded price, because it won't place these bets and get them matched. It will try and determine the actually, I think that was all right, wasn't it? I can't remember. Anyway, it's going to try and it'll place the bet at those odds, but it will convert it to SP as soon as the market goes in play. So what we're looking at is the trigger. Like I said here, we're looking at where the horse has a selection, which is as a 1, and the bet time or bet criteria is met. It will change to OK, and that will say back SP. It will back the SP. It will put the stake in at 50 pence. Now 50 pence, we literally just want to change this to here. Again, this is a reworked spreadsheet, so apologies, I am doing this on the fly, but essentially it's all correct. We just want it to say 50p in there because that's our stake. Now if we change that here to £2, we'll go back here, it will say £2. I've only had to change it in one place. So that's the beauty of the config. I think the minimum used to be £2 on Betfair for a black SP, but I'm pretty sure that has changed. I'm just going to keep an eye on that because it may be that that bet fails. I really can't remember if the Betfair removed that minimum on the SP. I'll probably do a little check on that off camera and just to make sure. If it is £2, I'll bump it up to £2, which is a bit unfortunate. Or in fact, what I might do is look to place the bet, just place the back bet before the race starts at the available price, because then you can put in a smaller amount. There is no £2 minimum. I've digressed again slightly, sorry. So that's what it's doing. It's going to say back SP. It's going to say at those odds, which are relevant because we're backing at SP with 50p stake. So all being well, that will generate. It will show up on the interface. It will show up on your Betfair account as a bet. And as soon as the market turns in play, it will sit there as a back bet. And that is what we've tested already. So the reason why these two have a 1 here, there's a bit of formula in here. So it's saying it's looking at count if. So it's looking at, so you can see here the blue. So these are the stalls that we listed for Dundalk. And then it's saying, does this horse, does the red meet the blue? Well, the red is 9. And yes, you can see here that it does. It's one of the stalls that we have selected from our data set. Then the second part of criteria is, well, is the purple greater than the green? Well, yes, it is. And then the second part is the purple less than the AF2. And again, I can see here that I've got an error in here because it's not picking up the AF2. Let me change that. Should be a pound sign, a dollar sign in there. So let me highlight this again. So is the purple then less than the maroon or the red? Yes, it is. So it's between the rank of the horses, between the criteria 8 and 14 here, 9 and 14, and the stall meets our criteria as well. Okay, so that is how we generate our selection. So in this race, there'd only be 2. Obviously, let's have a look at who's running in stall 11 and 13. So you can see those 2 there, but those currently are outside of our rank. Obviously, that can change. We're 2 hours out from post time. So that is how I've got this set up. That means I can go away, I can go off, do some shopping, I can go and have an afternoon nap, I can go to the pub, I can go work my night shift, go and pick the kids up. Whatever it is that you might be doing, we've all got hectic lifestyles. I've shown you there in 20 minutes how I've created a really simple system. I have used a base automated trading sheet and built from that. So there are things in here that will take time to build up. But like I said, that is something specific to Gruss, so I didn't want to bore you with that during the this video itself. But what I will do is put this video back on. I've got stuff to do as well, so it's not going to be following every race, but I will certainly give you an update and a summary. I am not expecting miracles. This is purely just to keep me honest and say, right, I'm telling you all of this. I'm not telling you to go out there and do it as a system, but it's interesting, right? We just want to see how it performs. So I will leave it there for the moment, and I will hook this video back up when it's time to do some analysis. I'm just hopping back in quickly before anything else happens. Just to let you know, I haven't overlooked the fact that Newcastle had different parameters. So I have loaded those stall details in here, and also the Betfair rank. So you can see here that on the first race at Newcastle on the place market, Saka meets that criteria. So it's in stall 3. It's currently ranked between 5 and 13. So that would be a selection. Now, what I have seen is I thought I'd go ahead and test this. Now, if I put back SP in here to simulate the back bet, you will see here stake too small. So there is a minimum on the Betfair back SP of £2. So I have 2 choices here. One is I back everything at £2. Not really wanting to do that. This is a bit of fun, a bit of an experiment, really, just to show you how I can take something from development to test to deployment. Those are the 3 stages. So the other option is I can look to back into the market when this trigger goes off at or around the prices that are available. Now, the best thing to do to guarantee you get the to get matched is change all this to 1.01. What that will mean is that certainly on the place market where there's a gap in here, you're always going to be taking the back odds. So it's a little bit of one of those where you've got to marry up. Do you want to put a bet in that potentially doesn't get matched, because the in-play liquidity is not great on the place market. So if you had 3 choices. One is you convert it to SP, which you can't do because you're staking at less than the £2. The other option is you let it go in play. In play liquidity is not great, so that bet may not get matched, especially if the horse performs well and goes on to place. It's unlikely that it will get matched. It'll only get matched on the ones that are losing. And the third option is you take that price before the off, but you're potentially taking a lower price than you would get at SP. But for testing purposes, I think that is what I'm going to do. Rather than bump that stake up to £2, I'm going to change this. And what I'm going to do is put in 1.01. So that should ensure that I get matched at the back odds. I could change it to last price, but again, if that horse's odds are coming down, doing it 5 seconds before the off, there's no guarantee in getting it matched. So just something to consider. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change that on the Dundalk page as well, 1.01. We're not running a third race today. but let's change it on here so I can save this file. So if I do any further testing, you will be able to see it. I'm going to save that, Control S. We are good to go. So I will pick this video back up again when we're at a stage where there's more developments. I said we're 2 hours out, so let's see how it unfolds. Okay, I didn't make it back in time for the 5 o'clock at Dundalk. I missed the 5:15 at Newcastle, and the 5:30 at Dundalk, all of which placed the bets as expected, but no winners yet. So back in time to capture this, so you'll actually be able to see what happens. So we're about 2 minutes from the off here, was scheduled off. This is the 6 o'clock at Dundalk, and there's one selection that's meeting our criteria, and that is Princess Raj, who is running out of stall 2 and is currently ranked 13th. And if we flick across to the win market, you can see there. So it's placed at currently trading odds around 70, with 32nd Street, the outsider, the only one ranked above it. So on paper, it doesn't look like it's a likely winner or a placer, but we shall see. It's what the data's sort of indicated, that over a period of time, it could well be. So you can see here the gaps as the time approaches the scheduled off, the gaps in this market start to populate. There's a bit more liquidity flowing in. When this ticks down to the 5-second mark, you'll be able to see the bet go in. Should be able to see the bet go in. So yeah, I'm not holding up too much hope, but you never know. So it should be a 50p bet being placed on the latest back odds the minute that drops to 5 seconds. We just have a quick look here at the interface. You can see here until the last 20 seconds. So Princess Raj, if we put it on the place market, you should be able to actually see that going in there. So Princess Raj, you should see this light up. You'll see the bet come down the bottom. So it's 50p. Should get matched at the 18. There's a couple of pounds. So it's going to drop down to 17.5. There you go. You've seen it flash up very quickly. 17.5 profit, and the race is off already. So let's have a little watch of it. 7 furlong, number 15, Princess Raj, in the purple and pink, sat in here. So there's only 3 places in this field of 14. I'm hoping you can hear the commentary coming across on the video, but it's possible you're not. I think he's at the back, so not looking too good. Yeah, Princess Raj back marker at the moment. 2.5 to go, and doesn't look like he's going to get going. We'll keep an eye because anything can happen, but he's got to get into the top 3. He's putting on a bit of a fight, but unlikely he's going to breach these 3 here. Yeah, he's nowhere near it. So, so it's another 50p popped, gone, but all part of the experiment. What I'll do is leave the automation to run. Just flick to the next market. If I go back to the Excel, you'll see that the next selection is Finito Bonito. Oh no, it's not. It's Arneman at the moment as it stands. Probably not going to get any other qualifiers for that race. So have a quick look at the one at Newcastle. There's nothing at the moment that's matching the criteria at Newcastle. So I'll end the video here, and I will pop back with the results at the end of the day. Okay, we have had a winner in the 6 o'clock at Dundalk. Sorry, 6:30 at Dundalk. we had Arnaman, who placed at odds of 19. And we've got another one running now at Newcastle, Global Humour. See how he gets on. Global Humour number 10. Here he is. No, he's there. It's a very poor start. So top 3, not the best start. Let's see how he goes. Well, we got second. He won for the, but it's another result. He was well adrift at the beginning, came through and took second place. So the place wins on that one as well. So not doing too badly. That's one win at Newcastle, one at Dundalk. Let me just open up a new page so you can see that one. That was the place at Newcastle. So Global Humour, 3.95. So not a huge win, about 3 times the stake, just under once you take out the commission. So it's a winner piece for Newcastle and Dundalk. The runner at Dundalk was Armaman, as I said, back to odds of 19. So a decent profit on that one there. Be back again shortly. Okay, so picking this up again for the 7:30 at Dundalk. As it stands as one runner, Alexander John, drawn in trap 9. So we've got a match, currently ranked 10. The only danger is if it drops down to rank 7, and looking at the difference in the place market, it looks unlikely. And again, if we look at this, so it's got to drop below 12, or one of these has got to increase above, not just Alexander John, but the 2 below it. He's actually now the outsider in this race. So not expecting much, but didn't expect much from Anaman either. And if I have a quick flick to our profit loss, so that's the situation. 50p stakes. I think we've had one runner in every race apart from the opener, where both failed to place. We had a 4th in that one, and we've got 2 winners. So let's flick back and have a look at Amaman and see. Sorry, not Amaman, Alexander John, and see how he gets on. If I open the Excel, if I open the betting assistant up and go to Dundalk, so it's a mile race. Alexander John, he's the one we're looking at here. We can put the so he's red and white, number 5, and we'll just watch and see how this goes. We should see the bet go in. Move that over that way just so you can see the countdown. a good place to put the video when you're looking at the whole picture. Move it up like that. There we go. Right, so we've got 30 seconds till post time. We should see this going on Alexander John. Let's open this one up so you can see. So just over 5 seconds. You'll see Alexander John bet go in. There you go. 7.8. They're not rating him based on the commentary. Again, as I said, I'm not sure if that commentary is coming across on the video, but they're basically talking down his chances. So we shall see. And they're off there. But he's just hitting them behind there. So that's the one to keep an eye on. Alexander John, number 5. Here we go. A mile race, so farewell to go. I'll let you keep an eye on it. We're looking at top 3 again, by the way, here. So he's leading at the moment, but not even halfway yet. So there's 2 furlongs left. He's still leading, but I think this trip's going to be too much for him. We'll see. Yeah, looks like he's going to get edged out for a place. Yeah, he's fallen out the back there. I think the mile was too long, but good effort, and that's another race done. 50p down. I'll be back. Okay, who's ready for another one? We've got Star Song up next in the 7:45 at Newcastle, running out of stall 3, and is pretty solid there in the rank. It's not going to drop to Betfair rank 4 or below. Its win SP is 22, so it needs to drop below 8. It's just over a minute to the off, so that's not going to happen. So Star Song is going to be our next back. Just checking on the P&L. So we're at £6.77 from 50p stake. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 races so far. So £4.50 stakes, £6.77 returns. Not too shabby. Let's get over to the Gruss software and have a look at this one. So it's Star Song, number 1 in the blue colours. And let's see how we go here. There's a 5 furlong dash, this one. Just loading now. So the bet hasn't gone in yet. We'll see that appear in 2 seconds. There you go. Did miss out on a couple of ticks there, actually. Gone in at 4.6 rather than 4.8 that's on offer now. But part of the risk that we run, as I said at the beginning, putting low stakes in like this means we can't use the BSP. But this is just an experimental run, really, just to try and detail the process more than anything, and give me a bit of light entertainment on a Friday evening. So let's see how we go. Stall 3, remember, we're focusing on a 5 furlong dash, so we'll be over before you blink. The hood is going on here for Latin 5 by the look. I'm not actually sure Star Song has gone in yet, so I'll keep an eye, but this might delay things by a minute or two. The others are going in. Yeah, so Star Song is in stall 3. So the one that's been playing up is in. These are the last 2. So here we go, bit of bumping. Let's see how Star Song does. So top 3 again. So Star Song in the lead at the moment. Very tightly bunched. Not fancied if you look at the odds here. Looking like he's going to get swallowed up. Yeah, he's beaten now, so no joy with that one either. Good start, but faded. We move on. See what we've got coming up. Just going to flip back to the Excel. So the next at Newcastle, Coconut Bay as it stands, and then we've got Miss Heartbreak in the 8 o'clock at Dundalk. If I'm about and able to capture those, I will do. If not, I will see you for the wrap up at the end of the day. But whichever way we look at it, it will be a profitable day, and you can't ask any more than that. Missed the 8 o'clock at Dundalk, but we're here for the 8:15 at Newcastle. I'm just going to flick back to the bot. We've got 2 coming up in Dundalk actually on the last. Coconut Bay is the selection here. Let's bring up the video. Just loading up. Coconut Bay is number 4, black and white. Best placed. Seven furlong this one. good start again. Saying Coconut Boy, but it's Coconut Bay. Can he hold on? Yeah, edged out to fourth. Yeah, I think he's edged out. Unlucky. So we have one final race of the day, and we have Eskimo Comet and Bold Approach as the two selections. Just going to keep an eye on Eskimo Comet. I think he's good because he's ranked 8th. Stall-wise, we're in 11 and 2. So two of the wider ones. Yeah, he's ranked 8th. Let's have a look at the win market. So the nearest rival, Fascinating Shadow, is trading around 23. Eskimo Comet 40. So there shouldn't be any doubt about that. So obviously, just in summary today, I've not been able to capture every race on here and record. I've found out actually there is no sound, so yeah, it's not going to be as exciting a watch as it might have been with the commentary, and I'm not sure why that hasn't pulled through. But you can see from the analysis here that we've traded 11 markets to 12 horses because we had 2 in the opener and we've got 2 in the last, and turned a profit from a 50p stake on each one to £5.27. So, you know, it's not been too bad of an experiment. With the way that this works, obviously with it being larger odds, you know, you do expect losing streaks within this and then a couple of wins that boost the kitty up, and that's exactly what we've seen so far. So let's get back to here. So we should be having just under a minute to the last race of the day at Dundalk, and like I said, I think the experiment, whichever way it went, would have been interesting. I've shown you how you can use our data outputs to develop a strategy. I've shown you then how you can test against historical data that has not been included in the development stage, and we've shown you deployment. So obviously I've not been able to sit at the desk all day or all evening and get all of these bets on myself, but using the software that I've shown you and introduced you to, this has allowed me to do just that with using our data, a couple of simple references across the top, and that has placed those bets. So as I said, even if both of these lose today, we will have turned a profit of £4.27 from an outlay of what, £7.50. It's not a bad, less than that, £6.50. Not a bad return of investment. Let's flick over to the Gross software and see how these two get on. Eskimo Comet and like I said, we are looking at 2 of the wider stalls. Let's get this up here. I know you can't hear this commentary, but Bold Approach in the white, Eskimo Comet white and red. So 7 and 8 in terms of numbers. They're loading up now. But yeah, the key thing to take from this is, like I said, not focusing too much on what I'm showing you here with the stalls and the favourite. This is just an example of how you can take it from raw data sat in a database somewhere create your own database. And the key thing that I'm trying to get across is your own database maintenance. I've extracted that initial set of data and I'm going to add to that, and you monitor and you see those changes, and then you can continually test. You don't have to test that I'm doing here by sitting there and placing the bets or having software place that bet for you. I could look at this tomorrow and see how those results panned out. So they're off. Let's see how we get on in this last race. So we said we've got Bold Approach and Eskimo Comet, and it's the top three again in the place market. And my internet is playing up all the camera. I mean, I'm on a super fast fiber, so it shouldn't be, but let's see. So we're looking for number 7 and 8, the two whitish based horses. Don't look like they're challenging at the moment. Eskimo Comet's at the back, in fact, back marker. This is a 1 mile 4, so the longest race of the day at Dundalk anyway. Now, when you're looking at the place odds, this isn't always a good sign where you've got nobody on the lay side. But we shall see. Bold Approach, obviously, has drifted. Well, he's not showing signs. Eskimo Comet is trading there, but there's no lay money really. You can ignore that. Okay, so Eskimo Comet is putting in a bit of a go here. Nothing there. Celtic Revival got the third. I think we got fourth there with Eskimo Comet. It was quite hard to see. That picture quality is pretty poor. And the commentary wasn't giving much away either. I know you couldn't hear that. But yeah, I don't think we've got a place in that last race. So flick back to here, and that will be £4.27. But like I said, from an outlay of we've done 11 markets. Well, it'd be 12 markets, and 2 of those markets we had 2 runners. So a £7 outlay to get a £4.27 return. Just doing a quick math, 61% return on investment just on today. So, not all is lost. The main thing for me, that placed the bets. I could have been out. I could have been, out socializing, whatever I'm doing, working, and you could trust that that software was placing the bets. We had a slight issue, obviously, with the BSP level. I wasn't familiar with what the minimum was, but I've shown you a way to overcome that. So I think I'll leave it there. It's been an educational video. I hope you found it useful, and we look forward to bringing you more of these in the future.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more useful content.